Hello, everybody. Welcome to our webinar today. We're super excited that you are all taking the time to join us. So my name is Amissa. I'm the Senior Marketing Manager at UpKeep, and today's webinar is going to be about asset operations for the modern industrial AI era. This is a very special one that we're really excited about because we have our CEO, Ryan, giving this presentation today. And he recently released his new volume of asset operations, of his asset operations book. And so we're really excited to share information from that book with you all today in this presentation. So we're super excited. I think this is going to be a great one. But before we jump into the good stuff, I do want to go over with you guys how you can participate and interact during the webinar. So you will see in your maybe bottom right-hand corner of your screen, a little chat icon, and that chat icon is where you can type things into the chat and talk with everybody. And then there's also a circle with a question mark in it, and that's where you can specifically put any questions that you want to make sure we see. Because sometimes if you put questions in the chat, they may get lost in the messages and we might not be able to address them. So put them in the question section if they're really important and you'd really like some answers. So then we'll be able to find them. Okay, so let's practice using the chat. Can you guys go into the chat and tell us where you are joining us from? And I see we already have a bunch of people saying hi. We have Paul from Sweden. And let's see, Stu from New Zealand. Wow, we got people from all over the world. That's amazing.
I'm here from Los Angeles, California.
Yeah. Oh, I see another Oregon person. I'm in Oregon too. Shout out to the Oregonians here. What else do we got? Washington, D.C. Patrick is from, Victoria from Texas. Brian from Michigan.
Brea from California, not too far from here in LA. All right. Nice. Yeah, we've got over 300 people here, 400 people joining today. So people all over the world.
Yeah, it always warms my heart to see how many people come to these webinars. We really appreciate it, and from where, because it's not only here where we're located in the United States, but all over the world. And I love feeling that connection with everybody across the world. So, all right, it looks like you guys are doing really good with using the chat. So let's get started. All right, so I'm super excited to introduce you to our speaker today. His name is Ryan. He's the CEO and founder of our company UpKeep, and he is the author of Asset Operations, Maintenance and Reliability and Operations in the Era of AI. So this is volume 2 of the book is what he's going to be presenting on today. He's also a former process development engineer. He has a Bachelor's of Science in Chemical Engineering, and he's super passionate about transforming maintenance reliability through technology. So Ryan, welcome.
Cool. Well, thank you so much, Missa, and thank you everyone for joining. Again, this is a live webinar, so we're going to try to keep it as interactive as possible. I will also warn everyone here today that I've got 75 slides and about 56 more minutes to go. So this is going to be pretty fast paced. What I'm going to do is try to keep this interactive as much as I can. But again, just want to say thank you to everyone joining us today. And thank you, Amissa, for the very kind introduction. As you mentioned, Amissa, I'm extremely passionate about the industry that we're in for maintenance, reliability, operations. I worked in a manufacturing plant that was called Tricep, that was spun out of DuPont Chemicals. And every single day I was thinking about how do we streamline our manufacturing process to make it go better, smoother, faster, run more productively. And wound up falling in love with this industry and have been in it the past 13 years. And every single day we think about how do we build technology that helps enable this industry, our industry, to be better and be part of this changing time. So that's what today's webinar is all about. And as I mentioned, I want to try to keep this a little bit interactive. So before I jump into my agenda and my next 55 slides here, I want to ask everyone, what are some of the biggest challenges that you face and how you manage your assets, your equipment, what are the biggest challenges happening at your organization? Would love to hear it. And maybe, hopefully, we could talk about what I'm seeing, what we're seeing across the 4,000 customers that we have all around the globe. As you all are typing, put it into the chat. It'll give me a little bit more direction on making sure that I provide some value from today. All right. We got dealing with a host of personalities, different mindsets, different values. We're definitely going to be talking about that, Jim. Criticality and prioritization, yes. Hopefully we'll nail on some of those topics. Coordination, understanding, knowledge, culture, yep. Yeah, hopefully we'll nail on some of those. Limited manpower. So I just feel like we're kind of at this stage right now where there's so much work and it's difficult to hire. There's a big crisis right now and making sure that we have enough workers in this industry. So we'll touch a little bit on that and how I think we can make a big shift for the industry. Quality of work data, lack of team engagement, good data management buy-in. All right, new gen employees, yes. And then building the right foundation. All right. So a lot of common themes. If I were to bucket what I see in the chat, it's probably, people, team morale. We're going to talk about that. We're also going to talk about data and good quality, high quality data as well. So hopefully we'll be able to extract a few good nuggets from today, and I'll make sure that I hit on a few of those that I saw in the chat already. All right, my outcomes for today. 1, explain a little bit more about what asset operations is, how and why you could apply it to your organization. My second outcome for today is share what I believe the future is going to look like in an AI first world and how to prepare. And then the last thing, we're going to open it up. Ask me anything, drop it into Livestorm. Just let me know what questions you have. We'll get to as many questions as possible. I'm going to start it out with 4 years ago, I wrote the first book on asset operations. There's this big vision behind maintenance reliability operations teams coming together under one umbrella. And it was a big critical moment for the industry, I believe. So as I go in, the next chapter here is basically going to be doing a review of what asset operations is and why it matters. 4 years ago, I've been in the industry now for 13 years, building technology for this industry for the past 13 years. And the first thing that we noticed was that maintenance was and actually still is divided. So we talk about cultural change. We talk about getting management buy-in. I saw this as well. What I saw was that organizations were oftentimes split between 3 different teams. You had maintenance that cared about repairs, operations that cared about production throughput. Then you maybe had a reliability team that cared about this long-term longevity of a piece of equipment. If you look at what they're doing, all 3 teams are working on the same asset in parallel, but they weren't working together. What happened, what I saw was that data was siloed, teams were siloed. You had maintenance teams that might have access to all of this technical data across CMMS, EAM, IoT, ERP, APM systems, choose all the different acronyms, but it wasn't shared across different platforms or teams. It remained fragmented. And what I believe happened was it created misaligned perspectives. We talk about management buy-in, culture. I think that this is the root of it. You had 3 different teams, 3 different sets of data, and also 3 different measures of success. When we talk to maintenance teams, we ask them, hey, what do you track? What success look like? Oftentimes it was, I track maintenance work orders. I track work completion. I might track preventative completed planned maintenance. And then you ask the operations team, what do you care about? They would say, I care about runtime, production throughput, reducing downtime, and reliability teams. We asked them the same question. They said, what do you care about? What does success look like? We care about reducing failures. We care about long-term longevity of this asset and expanding asset lifetime. The 3 different teams were all working on the same piece of equipment, but they actually had 3 different modes of success and misaligned goals. But then we took a step back. We asked the CEO, the VP of operations, what do you care about most? At the end of the day, they said, we care about production. We care about profitability to the business. What we saw was everyone wants to improve the bottom line of the business, but right now, these different teams were working in silos. They were operating independently to achieve this. And it didn't just create these information gaps, it actually turned into real rework. 20% of the work that's done out in the field today is done out of rework. That means that they didn't have the right information to get the job done the first time. I don't believe that this is the technician's faults necessarily. I believe it's because they didn't have the right access to information to get it right the first time. 20% of the work that's done today by technicians, maintenance team is done out of rework. That's a monumental amount of waste. Again, I believe it was not just because it wasn't the technician's fault. It was because they didn't have access to the right data to get it done the right way the first time. You had all these disconnected systems, and I think it actually prevented them from being successful in the role. Again, it's just seeing how much rework is done leads me to believe this is not just a skills labor problem. This is a do we have the right access to information to get it done the first time? And ultimately, through dividing the work into 3 different teams, I feel like what I saw from the chat is big challenge you're dealing with is culture. I think it stems from this. You divide work into 3 different teams, you're stuck into the cycle of being under-supported, undervalued, misunderstood. Tools, technology right now, there's more technology than ever before, but right now, it still isn't accessible to them. It's still not making the day's lives and jobs easier for them. Software is difficult to use. We're still relying on pen and paper. They lack the systems that make the day's lives and jobs easier. In terms of undervalued, we surveyed our customer. How are you feeling? I feel undervalued right now. How? Why? What's the root of this? We start with budget. I mean, that's honestly where a lot of the conversations start and where they end. How do I feel? Why do I feel undervalued? Well, it's because the budget that I'm receiving isn't nearly adequate to what we need to actually get the work done. And when we asked our customers and the industry, how do you determine your budget for maintenance this year? What we hear most oftentimes is it's a percent of my total replacement asset value. I'm going to choose 2%, 5%, maybe 6%, but there's little rhyme or reason as to why. Why is it 2%, not 4%? I believe it's because a lot of companies didn't have the right data to make decisions on maintenance budgets. It was oftentimes a run rate, not rooted in reality or data. And then misunderstood. What's happening right now, maintenance teams are measured by what they do, not why they do it. We surveyed the industry. We ran our maintenance survey of 2025. We surveyed over 1,000 people in the industry. We asked them 2 questions. What do you care about, and how do you measure success of the maintenance team? The number one thing that people cited, businesses cited, 43% of 1,000 of our survey respondents said, we care about reducing downtime. Now, the next question we asked is, how do you measure success? You would think if this is what you care about, success is tied to that. But guess what? 47% of businesses said that the primary KPI for maintenance success is how many completed planned preventive maintenance work orders did you complete? Right now, I believe that maintenance teams are measured by what they do, not why they do it. And that's a big disconnect. Right now, maintenance teams are being measured by, again, how many hours you work, how many wrenches you turn, how many work orders you hit the complete button on, and not based off of the outcome of the business. And if we want to put it into exact dollars, this again is a monster spend of loss here. Businesses lose $1.4 trillion annually due to unplanned downtime. So this is a real problem that doesn't just show up in how people feel, but actual bottom line of the business. So again, what I saw here was, in the chat, what are you dealing with? Oftentimes, what I saw was there's a common thread of team buy-in, culture, feeling under-supported. I think that if the three different teams, maintenance, reliability, operations, remain divided, this is just going to continue to have this feedback cycle of viewing maintenance as a cost center and not really having the buy-in to make the change that you feel like is necessary. In terms of feeling under-supported, undervalued, right now, oftentimes maintenance is viewed as this cost center. We don't have the right budget. It's, we're just going to do a run rate of last year, and for no rhyme or reason, we're going to cut it because, hey, look, we want to drive profitability to the business. One area, we can just cut maintenance budget. But I think if all of us are here in the webinar today, I think all of us believe there's a deep, real reason why we do invest in maintenance. And it's not just this sunk cost. So again, I'm going to share a little bit more about, again, the asset operations vision. I think the most powerful thing that we can do is shift the industry's mindset, shift it from viewing maintenance reliability operations teams in three different departments under one umbrella. I actually believe the future and what asset operations really is instead of looking at the assets at three distinct moments of time, it's looking at the entire asset life cycle. And instead of having three different measures of success where you care about, one team cares about what's happening today, one team cares about production throughput, one team cares about what might happen over the next 10 years, we look at the entire asset life cycle, and success is measured based off of business outcomes. That's the asset operations vision. I think it starts with one central command center. With this one central command center, you can shift the conversation from how many hours did you work, how many wrenches did you turn, how many work orders did you hit the complete button on, to this is the value that you've added to the business today. This is the asset operations vision. It's shifting our mindset from looking at maintenance again as a cost center to maintenance viewed as a profit center. Asset operations is company-wide intelligence. It's this single operational blueprint to make it easier and faster for everyone to get what they need to do their jobs successfully. So what I've done, I feel like, hopefully what I've done so far is paint the picture on, what I believe is the big problem happening today. This big vision on asset operations. And the next part here is I want to break it down into very tactical things, stories of our customers and the 8 pillars of asset operations to ground it in actual reality. So the asset operations vision and how you get there is rooted in 8 different pillars. And I'll step by each one of these pillars and share customer stories as well to ground it in, actual real stories that are happening today. So the first pillar of asset operations is 1, maintenance reliability operations teams must operate together to align on achieving a common goal. So I'm going to share 8 different customer stories of ours that have gone through each one of these pillars, these transformations. First customer I want to talk about is Glidewell. What they said was there's a big misalignment between production teams, maintenance teams. They didn't know what was going on with their assets. And so what they said is, we're going to align on this one common goal of OEE. What happened was this big transformation across the entire team. What's happening was the maintenance team, production team came together and they said, hey, what we want to do is we care less about just repairs today or downtime today. We care about OEE for this month. What they saw was just a surge in better communications, quicker shift transitions. And it was a big transformation by just going from looking at maintenance teams and operations, production teams as two different departments to a shared common goal of OEE. Made a big transformation. All right, I'm going through some of the comments here. Yes, we are absolutely going to get to AI. That's going to be the second part. What I want to do is just make sure we cover what asset operations is. We'll get to the AI. I promise. The second pillar of asset operations is data flowing into a single repository. I'll share another one of our customer stories. Again, I'll try to speed through some of this so we could get to the exciting stuff of the future ahead, I promise. Another one of our customers, it was this pillar is all about data flowing into a single repository. One of our customers, Sutaris, works in oil and gas fleet management. They had difficulty locating maintenance records alongside their fleet management system. So they said, hey, want to bridge all of this under one single umbrella, one single repository. They found over $500,000 in savings. They saved time. They knew where equipment was located. They knew where parts were. They created one central repository versus having multiple different record systems of truth. Pillar number 3 for asset operations is measure teams based on why they do something, not what they do. I mentioned here earlier that completed planned maintenance was oftentimes the measure of success for so many different people, different departments. One of our customers, Mollycop, shifted that. They said, hey, instead of looking at completed planned maintenance, we're going to measure success by production throughput. This is what we care about. You almost immediately saw teams start to drive better alignment. Ultimately, that led to plant availability by over 5%. Again, I'm going to speed through a lot of this, I promise. Pillar number 4 of asset operations, collect the right data to display the best insights, provide actionable feedback through a centralized command center. One of our customers, Welch Packaging, again, they had 5 different modes of communication. But once they adopted this asset operations vision, they created this single central command center for maintenance reliability operations teams. It boosted transparency, drove trust. They had real-time inventory tracking. They actually had fewer meetings and better efficiency by just creating one central command center for maintenance reliability operations teams. This was the adoption of this asset operations vision by Welch Packaging. And it was a really cool story to tell. Pillar number 5 for asset operations is continuous improvement is not just a point in time. This is an abundant life cycle. One of our customers, NatGas, before they really took this asset operations approach, they said these reliability analyses were very few and far in between. So they wound up setting up real-time reports to say, at the end of the day, how can we improve? How can we get better? This was a dashboard set up in the middle of their plant floor that they looked at every single day. This enabled them to have this very dramatic and very fast-paced improvement cycle that enabled them to lower their energy costs and drive reactive maintenance down dramatically. Pillar number 6 here is everything measured can be improved. One of our customers, Layfield, worked in manufacturing business, struggled to track basically anything. And what we said to them was start to track just one thing. What do you care about? So they looked at MTTR, mean time to repair. They said, we're just going to religiously track this. And they have found that whatever you track can be improved, but you have to measure it. Pillar number 7 of the asset operations vision is make data accessible wherever you are. One of our customers, Shoal IPN, data was slow to input, difficult to retrieve. This is a common theme that we always hear. And so they wound up implementing QR codes around their facility to make data accessible, easy to input, easy to access. And pillar number 8 of asset operations is maintenance reliability operations teams are revenue drivers, not just cost centers. Because once you can do the first 7 steps of the asset operations vision, what you have is a single command center. You have a unified team focused on a common goal. You have data accessible, and through that, you can drive better production goals, which ultimately lead to business outcomes. One of our customers, Brew Dr. Kombucha, they said to us, on a good day, on the best day, they would produce 100 pallets a day. But now, they're hitting almost 140, 150 pallets every single day. So this is the asset operations vision, the 8 pillars behind it. I believe that the world has changed over the last 4 years. But despite all this change, all the progress, a lot of the problems still existed. Data is siloed, teams still operate in isolation, goals compete instead of align. Yeah, we have a few examples of companies that have done this very, very well. I think the asset operations vision was right, but what we saw was the implementation of it was very time intensive. All right, so what has happened over the last 4 years? And maybe I'll say the last 2 years in particular. AI, artificial intelligence, has arrived. It's transformed every single industry, every role in every country on Earth. And what's happening right now is that it's only accelerating. I don't believe the question is whether AI will change your operation. It's whether you're ready to lead it or be left behind. A lot of people ask, is AI coming? I don't think that's the right question. AI is already here, whether you realize it or not. In education, transportation, healthcare, and education, I'm guessing if you have kids in school right now, 86% of students are using AI to study. It's dramatically reduced study time. It's improved test scores. In transportation, in cities like, I'm in Los Angeles, San Francisco, Austin, a few other cities, Waymo has been doing these self-driving cars, 250,000 rides every week, 2 million miles a week. In healthcare, AI is already reading X-ray scans alongside doctors. 48% of radiologists are using it right now. Whether you realize it or not, AI has already come. It's changing every single role, every single industry, every single country on Earth. I believe that maintenance is no exception. 4 years ago, the vision behind asset operations was right, but I think the timing wasn't right until now. We launched asset operations when teams could organize your data. You'd spend all this time organizing all of your data, bring one central command center all together. But the biggest challenge was that few people, few teams had time to actually use AI effectively. What has AI done? AI has actually removed the friction that I believe has held us all back. It democratized knowledge. It made intelligence accessible at your fingertips. So again, like today is all about the new launch of the asset operations book. When I saw this, I had written this book 4 years ago on asset operations, this big vision, 8 pillars. I saw what was happening with AI and what's going on in the world right now, and said the entire book needed to be rewritten because the world looks very different. So I added 2 new chapters. AI is coming from reactive to prescriptive and how your role evolves today. And then the next 10 years, how asset operations meets the digital twin. I believe the world is changing quite a bit. There's going to be a lot of change happening. And I'm going to take the next section here, which is essentially the next 20, 30 minutes talking about my beliefs of AI, where it's going, and I'll root it in some very practical stories and products that we have within UpKeep today. I'll share what I believe is coming, not in 2050, but over the next 2 to 5 years. But before I jump in there, there's so much talk about AI right now. There's a lot of, smoke and mirrors. I want to ask everyone, how are you using AI in asset management today? Would love to hear it, see it in the chat, and see from everyone across the world. 1, are you implementing AI? And 2, how? What's good about it? What's bad about it? What does it mean? Maybe I'll share a few stories that I feel that we've heard. I think our industry, whenever they hear AI, there's commonly this feeling of what we see on the news is AI is going to replace my job. But we talk to our customers, the common response, our technicians, our industry, the common response is AI is not going to climb ladders. AI is not going to turn wrenches. What are you talking about? I absolutely agree. There's a big divide right now with AI in the physical world and the digital world. And I think that there's a big divide, a big gap that there is in the physical world of AI. For the digital world, I do believe that there's big changes, and that's where I'm going to focus a lot of my time today right now. All right, let's see and hear from the group. Discovering common failure modes. This is very interesting. I think a big use case for AI in asset management. Data analysis, incredible. Again, what I'm seeing here is, again, like AI is not going to come and climb ladders, turn wrenches, but it will help us with data analysis. It will help us with training. It will help us build a knowledge base. AI is already being used today. I'm also seeing, some teams not using AI too much. So hopefully what I can do for everyone here today is just spark some ideas for folks on how to use AI and think about implementing AI within your team, within your plant. And I'll provide some very practical things as well. I'm going to start with the big vision, and then we'll get into, very practical terms of how to use AI within UpKeep. So over the next 2 to 5 years, here's where I believe the future's headed. I think that all facilities will have this digital twin in real time. Every piece of equipment, every valve, every motor will be mirrored digitally in real time. We have been talking about the digital twins for a very long time. Again, I'm going to bring it back to the asset operations vision. This digital twin has been a common theme over the past, I don't know, maybe like 20 years or so. We've been talking about this for a very long time. I will relate the asset operations vision very directly to the digital twin vision as well. I think what we had was almost too much data and not knowing what to do with it. But I think now is the right time for the asset operations vision, for the digital twin vision, because it's democratized data. It's democratized knowledge. It's enabled us to actually do something, act on all of this data. Before, we would just spend all this time putting together this big repository data lake, creating these digital twins, not having the time, skills, expertise to actually take action off of it. I believe that with AI over the next 2 to 5 years, facilities will have a full digital twin in real time to be able to track, manage their entire facility digitally without having to always step foot into the plant floor to actually see what's going on. You can run simulations. This digital twin will think, learn, respond, act, and give you a digital blueprint of your entire operations. I think the future of maintenance looks much more prescriptive, much more autonomous, and not just predictive. Again, these are some buzzwords. I think a lot of companies right now are thinking they're doing cutting edge stuff because they've got predictive alerts. You've got vibration spikes, heat maps, you got these sensors. I think all of this is still reactive, just reacting a little bit earlier. I think the future looks much more interesting. Again, the biggest challenge that we had with all of these, quote unquote, predictive maintenance solutions is that we had all this data. It would throw alerts. We didn't really understand how or why it was coming in. We didn't have the time actually to really understand it. But what AI has done, again, it has democratized intelligence. I think the future actually looks autonomous, where it's not just triggering alerts. It's looking at the entire detection, diagnosis, helping you dispatch the right person, and helping you also drive this resolution feedback cycle. And we saw one of the most common use cases of AI right now today is in data analysis and understanding common failure modes. This is starting to happen right now. I think the future of technology is going to be no more typing. Technicians are just going to talk, and natural language is going to be the new interface. Right now, you spend so much time documenting when you should be actually doing the real work. I think the future looks much more like natural language is going to be the new interface for technology. Instead of typing on your phone, you're going to talk to your phone. It'll pull up records. It'll help you create data. It'll make it seamless. I think the future of our industry not only looks like spoken word, not typed digitally on your phone, but I've alluded to this a few times already, but I believe that AI has democratized intelligence. It's given everyone basically the tool to and access to the smartest person in the world, where everyone has a PhD in reliability in your back pocket. Oftentimes, before AI, before this world, you'd have these FMEAs, RCAs, failure modes. You do acid criticality, run your root cause analysis or failure modes, effect analysis, and it would either cost an arm and a leg to bring someone in with that expertise to now democratize knowledge. You can have instant expertise in your back pocket to run best practice FMEAs. You could do root cause analysis and follow a pattern that is best recognized by the experts in the field. I don't think that this replaces people, and I want to make sure that I'm very clear on that. I don't think that AI will just completely replace people. Instead, what it has done and shown it has done is enable us to go from 0 to, let's call it like 70, 80, 90% the way done in almost a fraction of time. I do still believe that the human element is so important to complete it. Take it from that like 0 to 80. The human in the loop is going to be that person that takes it from 80 to 100. And that's the force multiplier that I'm starting to see so many of our customers in the industry use AI for. I think the future of AI for our industry actually looks like an end of tribal knowledge. What I saw, what I heard when I started this entire presentation, the webinar, was there's a lot of people who are struggling, companies that are struggling with, this transfer of knowledge from the old guard to the new guard, getting more people interested, excited about the industry, want to come into our industry. And what we hear from so many of our customers is that this transfer of knowledge is so difficult because it's oftentimes stored up in someone's brain. When Joe retires, that knowledge walks out the door, someone's on PTO, a new hire starts, they're a month behind. Actually, what AI can do is put an end to this tribal knowledge. We talked about this single central data repository. That's what it all is. But not only is this asset operations the data repository, what AI has enabled you and us to do is access that information. That's the big difference here. So I see a pretty bright future for our industry. Again, I don't see AI turning wrenches, climbing ladders, at least in the short term. Who knows? The world could look very different over the next, I don't know, like 20, 30 years. But I actually think our industry is very bright. And what we're starting to see is that it's not just theory. And why? Because this is already happening in UpKeep today. So again, what I've done, hopefully, is share a little bit more about the asset operations vision, what's changed, where we are today, my big visions of the future. What I want to do is now bring it back to things you can do today, right now, within UpKeep. This month, we launched UpKeep Intelligence. It's a brand new set of features directly within UpKeep that enable our customers, you all, to utilize artificial intelligence to make you smarter, run faster, be better. So I'm going to share, I think it's 6 different features directly within UpKeep that you can do today to start to leverage UpKeep Intelligence and AI to, again, work smarter, work faster. The first thing here is using voice to text kill the keyboard. What I mentioned was, I believe that natural language is going to be the new interface for technology. Typing is slow, voice is fast. So right now with UpKeep Intelligence today, you could walk up, pull out your phone, pull out UpKeep, say, hey, I walk line 4, found a small hydraulic leak on pump 3, it needs attention today. What AI will do, UpKeep Intelligence will do, is capture this request, tag the right asset, prioritize it, assign it based off of workload. And here's the cool thing, like, it's not going to do all of this just for you and hit submit for you. It's going to draft the entire job for you and say, hey, does this look right? It'll take you from 0 to 90 really fast and ask you, do you want to hit submit? That's where we think the power of AI is. The second thing you can do directly in UpKeep today with UpKeep Intelligence, snap a photo, instantly update your inventory. The old way, you'd basically receive a pallet, you receive new equipment, new parts, you'd sit in front of your desktop and add in, manually update inventory line by line. Now you can pull out your phone, take a picture of that shipping label. AI will read it, extract all the part numbers, match them, update your stock. And again, the theme here is it'll create this draft for you and say, hey, does this look right? Did I get this right? It'll take you from 0 to 90 really fast. And then stop at 90 and say, did we get this right? Does all of this look correct? Do you want to hit submit? This is where we see the power of AI. The human in the loop is basically going from 90 to 100. AI takes you from 0 to 90 in a fraction of what it used to take you. Within UpKeep today, what we saw is data quality. I think that was a common theme that I saw from this list in the chat. Data quality. How do we get better quality data in? What AI has done is enabled you to just take all of your data, dump it into UpKeep, and we'll do the rest. Again, we'll take all of this unstructured data, we'll structure it for you, we'll make sense of it, and then we'll say, hey, Does this look right? Do you want to hit submit? We've had customers take 10 years of work order data, dump it into UpKeep, and with UpKeep Intelligence, we structured it, and we got our customers going from basically a ton of this big digital mess into something that's clean, structured, in a fraction of the time that it used to take. With UpKeep Intelligence today, you can instantly generate standard operating procedures, checklists. And again, this is something that used to take teams, hours, weeks, months to do. You'd put 2 process engineers, you'd lock them in a room, you'd say, comb through all the manuals and create our SOPs. And by the time you finish, it's already out of date. And so now with UpKeep Intelligence, you can automatically generate standard operating procedures, checklists. Again, what it will do is get you 90% the way there. You plug in your asset, you tell UpKeep Intelligence a little bit more about what it is, what equipment you're trying to generate a checklist for, prevent maintenance schedule for. It'll get you about 90% the way there. And you'll do the rest. It'll ask you, does this look right? All right, the last one here is AI-powered resource planning. Directly with UpKeep Intelligence today, what we saw was scheduling is a big mess. You're juggling technician availability skills, certifications, travel time, priority. Now you can take your backlog. You might be doing this every week, every month, where you look at a backlog and you resource plan all of your team and try to prioritize. With UpKeep Intelligence today on our smart scheduler, you could select the teams that you're trying to schedule, the jobs that you're trying to schedule. And with a click of a button, UpKeep Intelligence knows who's on the right team, who has the right skills, certifications, what times they're working, and looks at the jobs, each one of these jobs, and intelligently places them on the calendar for you. Again, it goes from 0 to 90 really fast. And as you can see here in our product demo, it stops at 90 and says, hey, does this look right? And gives you the opportunity to make changes. What we found the biggest use of AI right now within UpKeep and all of our customers is it enables you and us to go from 0 to 90 really fast, but still allows the human in the loop to take you from 90 to 100 with very little effort. What we saw was oftentimes with our customers, the industry, the biggest challenge was starting. And actually, that's precisely what UpKeep Intelligence has enabled you and all of our customers to do so easily, is start. So I know I've been talking for a really long time. I know. I'm really excited about the industry. I'm really excited about where we're headed, where we're going, and what the industry has ahead of us. I think we are in such an awesome category, industry right now. There's a triple tailwind behind us. For the first time in my life, I've seen this rotation actually go from white collar to blue collar. I think that this rotation is going to happen. On top of that, we're starting to see a return of US manufacturing. And if you believe in AI, you probably also believe in more automation, more robotics, more repairs, and more technicians until robots start to self-repair. So again, we talked about a lot. I know I covered a ton of different slides here. I went through asset operations, where we're headed in the future, and then ultimately, how to implement AI in your business, in your operations using UpKeep today. I still feel like I've just very barely scratched the surface. So if you want to read more about asset operations and the future of AI and how I believe the entire world is getting rewritten, especially for our industry, Amissa from our team is going to drop a link right in the chat right now. We're giving away free books just to anyone that wants to and cares to learn more. So you could go to that link and get a free book. We'll send one to you. I think we've got maybe just a few more that we will send out, but we won't stop there as well. And then also, if you're interested in using AI and wanting to learn how you can implement AI into your operations today using UpKeep Intelligence, we'll send another link right here to our UpKeep Intelligence page. You can learn more, get a demo of UpKeep Intelligence. If you're an UpKeep customer and want to get access to some of the features that we talked about today, reach out to us. It's the same exact form that Amissa just dropped in here. Yeah, it's everything from smart scheduling, our search, our photo-based part identification to voice to text. Some of these features like have blown my mind alongside our teams, what's getting created right now. So again, last thing here, if you're an UpKeep customer, sign up for early access for the AI UpKeep Intelligence. You can go to that landing page. If you're not a customer yet, just reach out to us, schedule a demo. And the last thing that I'll say too is, if you're using AI in maintenance today, I would love to learn from you. So shoot me an email. My email is ryan@upkeep.com. I'll respond to everyone. This is like the most, I believe, most important thing that is happening in our industry. I would love to chat with you if you're using AI in maintenance right now. I think the future starts with you. I think that there's this big revolution happening in our industry, and I'm really excited by it. So with that, I'll open it up for a few questions. I'm going to see if I can go through some of the chat and some of the comments. It's really great to hear. Yeah, we've got some UpKeep customers here saying that the new scheduler is pretty epic, and I think so too.
Looks like David wants to know what's on the product roadmap.
Oh my gosh, David, we got so much on the product roadmap. But really, it is this vision from maintenance becoming reactive to autonomous. So where I believe what's all on our roadmap right now is just how do we help automate the kind of like busy work that we believe maintenance technicians shouldn't be doing, which is inputting data. And we want to help automate all of that and help you and your team get back to the real work, which is being out on the plant floor, turning wrenches, repairing equipment. That's what's on our roadmap. It's all about how do we drive more actions for our customers to help them get back out into the field.
Let's see. We have some more questions in there. Can it be integrated with SAP?
Yes, absolutely. So I think this came from Andrew. Yes, we have an SAP integration. We've done this for several of our customers. Oftentimes what we see is we want the parts inventory purchase orders alongside assets to be integrated directly with SAP. This absolutely can be. And oftentimes what we see is a big opportunity too to utilize a field first application layered on with AI into an SAP database. Essentially, it's something that's I believe going to be the future.
It looks like so maybe can you give some insight into how accurate the AI talk to text is within UpKeep versus like on like our standard mobile device?
Yeah, really good question. And the answer here, it's just as good as you believe that the talk to text is relative to what you've used with some of the large language models. And what I will tell you is from personal experience, it is like light years different, light years better. Our talk to text is, again, this is my personal experience, but I'm going to also encourage you to try it out yourself. It is light years better. The talk to text translation, using UpKeep Intelligence is so much better. And why? Because the talk to text on your phone is listening to you and doing word for word translation or dictation. But UpKeep Intelligence, we take the entire conversation, and there's so much context wrapped in that to do the dictation. And that ultimately leads to much, much better dictation versus the single word for word.
Yeah, okay. I'm seeing, trying to scroll through the chat here and see if I missed any earlier questions. Oh, Paul had asked about having a copy of the book for non-US in Canada. So Paul, just email me and I'll send you a copy.
Yeah. We'll get it to you, Paula.
Hashim's asking about a specific feature and where it's available inside UpKeep. But I'm not sure which feature you're asking about, Hashim.
Yeah. All right. Well, hey, I just want to say thank you all for joining today. I really appreciate it. Hopefully you're able to take away some interesting takeaways. I wanted to keep it practical. I wanted to share customer stories. I wanted to share also things that you could do today and not just talk about theory. I know that I talked a lot. We'll send out the recording to everyone that registered. So I think there's been several requests about, hey, is this going to be recorded? Is this going to be shared out? It absolutely will be. So we'll send that out. Thank you, everyone. Appreciate it. And appreciate you all spending the time with me. If you have any questions, please remember, just shoot me an email, ryan@upkeep.com. Very, very easy. And if you're doing something really cool in maintenance and AI, I'd love to chat with you. That's my biggest passion right now.
All right. Bye, everybody. Thank you.
Thanks, everyone.